We live in a world where everything is expensive, from rent to food to clothes and everything in between. And with all this, it can be hard to find ways to spend less every day. That's why it's important to be aware of our spending habits. If we don't, it will be easy to overspend, and then we won't have anything to spend on the things we really need in life. It's also important to understand that cutting back on some things can lead to increasing others, but it's worth trying if we want to improve our finances and our quality of life. So here are 7 tips for spending less money on a day-to-day basis, which in turn will leave you with more money for retirement, savings, and investments. Number 1, give up big purchases. There are many ways to save more, but forgoing big purchases is a good way to start. When it comes to big purchases, people are often advised to spend less to save more. This is not just about the money spent, but also about the time and energy it takes to make a decision on an expensive purchase. It is important to assess whether you will get enough value for money from the purchase, and whether it is worthwhile in terms of value for money. For example, it may be tempting to buy a new car every year, but if you can't afford it, stop buying a new car this year and put that money into a retirement account. In general, it is always better to buy what you need than what you want. And this applies to household items, cars, furniture, etc. Remember that you can easily replace any of these items in the future if necessary, but the same cannot be said for your job or your savings. If you hesitate to give up a big purchase to save more money, remember this: it is better to have an old car than no car at all. So we shouldn't feel bad about spending less on expensive things. In fact, it can be very rewarding and will make a big difference in the long run. The key is to find affordable alternatives for the things we like without compromising our quality of life too much. Number 2, leave debit and credit cards at home. Credit cards are a source of temptation. They are easy to use and often provide a sense of security, but that's where the danger begins. When we feel secure, we spend more, and we also find it easier to make impulse purchases without thinking about the consequences. To solve this, you can try leaving your credit and debit cards at home. This way, if you want to buy something, you will have to use cash, and this will lead you to think more carefully whether it is really worth spending money on that thing or not. In other words, this strategy will force you to think about what you are going to buy and make a plan about how much money you have and what you are going to spend every day. Basically, it is very easy to overspend and make impulse purchases when using credit cards, and we may not realize how much we spend until it's time for the monthly bill. Leaving the credit card at home and using cash can help us stay within our budget and avoid impulse purchases. Number 3, wear secondhand clothing. The average person in the United States spends $1,700 on clothing each year. The United States is one of the most wasteful countries in terms of clothing production and consumption. And what happens is that, with the rise of fast fashion, we have become accustomed to buying and discarding clothes at an alarming rate. Not only does this generate a lot of waste, but it also causes us to spend a lot of money on our closets every year. But it doesn't have to be that way. One way to spend less of your wallet and support the environment is by shopping at thrift stores or online resale sites like Poshmark or Depop. Best of all, you can often find great quality clothing for less than half the price. The truth is that it's not uncommon for people to buy secondhand clothing, and in recent years, there has even been a trend to buy this type of clothing. One of the reasons is that it can be cheaper than buying new clothes. All in all, buying secondhand clothes has many advantages, such as saving a lot of money and at the same time helping to reduce the carbon footprint. Number 4, review memberships and subscriptions. Subscriptions have been commonplace for a long time. Many people have more than one subscription and may not even know how much they spend on them per month. In addition, the cost of monthly subscriptions can be high, especially for those who have subscribed to multiple services. For example, a person subscribed to Netflix, Spotify, and Hulu will spend more than $100 per month. And that's not including the cell phone bill, electricity costs, credit card interest, and wasted time. The truth is that the monthly subscription craze has been around for a long time, but it is no longer limited to just magazines or books. Now, one can subscribe to anything from groceries, clothes, and even a haircut. Now, some people keep their subscriptions because they believe it would be a waste of money to cancel them because of the time they have already invested in them. However, this is not always the case. Canceling your subscriptions can be just as good as canceling any other recurring payment you may have, and even better. So if you're paying for more than one of these services, it's worth taking a look at them to see which ones you can get rid of and cancel the remaining automatic renewals. Number 5. Cooking at home. There are many factors that contribute to the rising cost of food, and some of them are the cost of produce, labor, and supply and demand. Currently, the people most affected are low-income families, as they have to buy food with their limited income. So if you are one of those who eat out, it is important to remember how expensive restaurants can be. And this is because they have very high overhead costs, which are then reflected in the food they offer. On the other hand, restaurant cooks are paid more than those who cook at home or in schools. This is because it takes more skill, more time, and more effort to prepare a meal for 10 people than for one. Therefore, the best way to spend less money on food is to cook at home. Cooking at home can be very enjoyable, healthy, and cost-effective, as well as saving time and energy. Also, by cooking at home, you can spend more time with your family, watch your favorite TV show, or even do something you enjoy, like reading a book or playing the guitar without interruptions. So, by cooking at home, most people can save a lot of money and enjoy their meals as much as they would enjoy buying them. Number 6. Switch to reusable. Bottled water may be great to drink, but it's pretty expensive in the long run. Americans spend on average more than $100 a year on bottled water, and for a family of 4, that can add up to more than $400 a year. Worst of all, that money could be spent on other, more important things. So instead, start drinking tap water. Try using a metal canteen or filter your own tap water. And the same if you are used to using plastic cups or plates. While these may seem like small expenses at first glance, they're actually big expenses in the long run. So say goodbye to disposable products and go for reusable ones. Not only will you benefit by saving money, but you'll also help the environment by reducing plastic waste. Number 7. Start a new hobby. One of the most popular phrases is money makes the world go round. Most people spend their money on buying luxuries, dining out, and other activities. But there are many other things you can do with your time besides spending money. Spending time on a new activity, such as running or doing some volunteer work, leaves less time to spend money. For example, if you are dissatisfied with what you have in life, consider taking up a new hobby that occupies your mind and leaves less room for materialistic pursuits. Spending time on a new activity or doing something you enjoy outside of work can help you focus your mind on activities other than spending your money. And it can also be great for your mental health and eliminate some of your stress. The truth is that some people are unable to control their spending. They don't have the money they need for rent or food. They are people who have to take out loans, credit cards, etc. in order to afford the necessities of life. However, it's never too early to start spending less money, and it's never too late to start saving. Once you get your spending under control, with a little discipline and time, you will be on the road to financial stability. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to share it with your friends and family and subscribe to see more content like this. Take care and see you next time.